And for more on Premier Lee's visit to Russia, let's cross line to our reporter Alyosha Milankovich in Moscow. Alyosha, Premier Lee met Dmitry Medvedev, Russian Prime Minister, on Monday. What can you tell us about their meeting?
I was in St. Petersburg yesterday watching what is happening there, and I was really amazed how many new agreements were reached between leaders of two governments of China and Russia. Of course, there were so many topics which they have covered during that long but very fruitful meeting. But as was mentioned in previous story, the energy has dominated these discussions, and the reason is obvious. China is the world's largest economy, which still expands on 6% per year rate, which is quite significant, of course. And Russia, on the other hand, have a lot of energy, while China needs a lot of energy. So they discussed a lot about, for instance, projects like Yamal. That's the world's largest plant, which is liquefying natural gas and then shipping it worldwide. Then they were talking about famous now Power of Siberia gas pipeline, which should stretch for 6,000 kilometers from Siberia to end up at Shanghai, 3,000 kilometers through China and roughly around 3,000 kilometers through Russia. That gas pipeline should be finished by year 2019, and when it's finished, it should bring roughly around 38 billion cubic meters a year of blue energy or natural gas from Siberia to Russia. That's also a very important project for both countries. At this moment, it is estimated that it will be worth roughly around 70 billion US dollars. They were also talking about, for the first time, strategic partnership and joint development in peaceful usage of nuclear energy. That's something what is quite new, what we haven't heard before. And of course, they were talking about further collaboration after year 2017 in the space industry. Prime Minister Li Keqiang also suggested that maybe the most fruitful area for joint work will be agriculture. And both prime ministers have agreed to work together and jointly on opening new economic and trade zones along China and along Volga River in Russia. There were so many other things. For instance, Prime Minister Li Keqiang also offered to his counterpart Dmitry Medvedev to increase levels of mutual exchange in the mutual currencies. At this moment, it is roughly below 10%, or maybe even way below 10%. So that will be beneficial for both sides if the level of mutual trade in local currencies will be way much higher, meaning phasing out US dollars and any other currency which is currently being used.
That is obviously a wide range of topics, and we understand Li Keqiang is also expected to meet President Vladimir Putin. What will they touch upon?
Prime Minister Li Keqiang arrived in Moscow maybe a few hours ago. And yes, as you said, it is expected that he will meet Russian President Vladimir Putin, and that rather different cup of tea regarding talks between those two gentlemen, as well as talks between Li Keqiang and Dmitry Medvedev in St. Petersburg were more on economic side. These talks between President of Russia and Prime Minister of China will have more political note. China and Russia are working very closely together on many world issues. It is so obvious that in a number of situation of sessions of United Nations Security Council, two sides worked in synchronicity. And according to various sources here in Moscow, they will talk about further collaboration and further synchronization of their efforts in the United Nations Security Council, because both countries have very similar view on many world problems and many world issues. They would like to see as much as possible peace throughout the world, because this is beneficial for not just for all world, but particularly also and for those two countries. And also there will be some other talks, other topics on the table. Don't forget, it is the day when the United States chooses its new president. So whoever new president of the America will be, it will have to collaborate or to try to work with both Russia and China, and there are some issues in the relations with those two countries. So nevertheless, we'll have to wait for official statement from the meeting between Li Keqiang and Vladimir Putin, so we can know a bit more.
All right, and we will keep a close watch on that. Thank you, Alyosha Milankovitch, for your reporting from Moscow.